Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. You've managed to prove me wrong. Despicable Me Grueside done overwhelmingly well for my channel standards. I couldn't thank you enough, but if this video does well again, I will make another video. Don't expect this series to be consistent. It could be 2 weeks before each video. It could be just 1 week before each video. I don't want to work myself because I'm working on other projects like Granny's Freaky Friends, which is a game I'm making. But basically, what I'm saying here is I'm going to start this series. I'm going to start it. For some reason, there's demand for it. I don't know why. But basically, we're going to do this series more frequently. I don't know, it might take over the Let's Play series. I really don't know what to say about that. But if the Let's Plays still get a consistent amount of views, I'll probably keep doing them. But as the title says, for today, we're reading Despicable Me, the Impossible Might of Gru. So let's begin. There's a lot of stories on the internet about undiscovered films. Most are usually about scrapped plans for a movie that never saw the light of day. A script that got tossed out, maybe, or some other concept art that surfaced online, or even, if you're really lucky, a few minutes of footage. But there's a strange subcategory, if you will, to this kind of thing. Some people claim that there exist lost films that were developed usually as part of a popular franchise that were stopped from releasing for one reason or another. You might have even heard of lost episodes of certain TV shows, or some of them exist, but more often than not, it's just an elaborate work of an internet prankster. I was really never a big believer on this kind of stuff. Like, why would anything exist that we didn't know all about? I was one of those go by sight, not by faith kind of people, and thought the entire idea of some weird lost movie or TV show episode was just kind of a lame joke of sorts. Incredibly unlikely to exist, at least in the way people claim it to be. I was wrong. Where I live, there's a number of small businesses with names you probably have never heard of. They did well enough thanks to the locals, so they generally stuck around, but they also struggled enough for money that they would run sales on items fairly frequently. The only business in the immediate area you'd be properly familiar with is Family Video. The location wasn't particularly well kept up, and there were quite a number of complaints about faulty discs and other things that seemed a bit unusual. The supply was unusually pretty low, though I didn't occasionally manage to find a decent film to watch on Blu-ray. The store occasionally ran extra deals on movies that were considered classics. Most recently, I dropped by to pick up a movie or two, and I noticed a poster on the window advertising a 50% off sale on any of the classics that they were offering. A lot of them were actually fairly old films, although one of them was Despicable Me, which had came out in 2010, so not that long ago, just over 10 years, at the time of writing this anyway. Now, that was a movie I actually haven't seen before. I've seen the second one with some friends, but never really paid much attention to it, and besides, I wanted to check out the original, and I figured I would go inside and pick up the movie up, because why not? I walked into the store and browsed the usual films there, although the selection was mostly picked over, and since the store wasn't stocked particularly well, I actually couldn't find Despicable Me on any shelves. Being determined, however, I decided to just ask the next employee that I could find, and to my surprise, he opened a door into a back room in the building and brought out a bin of movies from some kind of overflow. A lot of the movies in the bin had noticeable marks and scratches on the cover, which is probably why they weren't put on sale. He told me that the last time he checked, there was a copy of Despicable Me in the bin, and if I was willing to deal with the case, and all being somewhat poor condition, he'd sell it for me for a lower price. I agreed, not caring that much about anything but the disc inside. I went home and opened the case. Now, like I said, the case was a bit banged up, but honestly, not too terribly so. No, it was the disc, not the case, that caught my attention. The disc didn't seem right. I mean, it was definitely for a Despicable Me movie, and it had Gru on it and all, but written underneath the Despicable Me logo was the subtitle, The Impossible Might of Gru. Maybe this was a sequel? No, that didn't sound right. Concerning the sequels that were just called Despicable Me 2 and 3 respectively, I actually got pretty excited. Could this really be an undiscovered film? I rushed to my disc player and put the disc in. A menu popped up, though it was just a static image of Gru in front of a triangular construction sign. The sky behind him was a weird shade of red, but I thought it actually kind of looked badass, honestly. I clicked the play button that appeared. I couldn't have ever expected what came next. The Illumination logo appeared, but suddenly there was a fucking realistic explosion as the O and N on the end fell off of the logo, which just read Illuminati. A bunch of fucking minions started marching out and performing some kind of disturbing ritual in Greek as the Eye of Providence began fading in some distorted remix of the X-Files theme. The minions started chanting in deep voices as the entire screen started violently shaking and distant crashing sounds were heard. Now, I'm pretty sure Illumination movies didn't usually start with, whatever I just saw. The movie opened on Gru lying in a lawn chair. It just kind of lingered on this shot for 20 fucking minutes while some weird rap song played in the background. Gru didn't move. What the fuck was the point of this? Was he asleep? Was he fucking dead? Finally, Gru sprung up from his chair. I cannot believe I have a twin brother. Pretty cool shit, I got to say. Did Gru just fucking say shit? That was new. Now, I don't know much about Despicable Me, but I knew he had a twin brother in the third movie. Why was Gru talking about him again? I must visit my brother. I must see him. Gru kept saying over and over again. He sounded kind of panicked. Gru got up and went outside, but the sun was blue. Gru just acted like this was normal as he got into his comically large car, the Grumobile. What happened next horrified me. The movie began to play Mo Bamba by Shrek West, completely uncensored as Gru started driving the Grumobile straight through the neighbor's fucking house. He kept leering out of the window and laughing as a fucking tank suddenly came out of literally nowhere and started trying to stop him. I shit you not, the fucking Cat in the Hat was driving the tank. Not the animated one, no. The fucking Mike Myers live action Cat in the fucking Hat was driving the dang tank to try and kill Gru. He looked incredibly bizarre considering the rest of the movie was animated. It was like someone had green screened him into the film, and not particularly well. I'm gonna fucking murk you, the Cat in the Hat screamed as he started trying to ram the tank into the Grumobile. I was really taken aback by the cursing in this movie. Did Cat in the Hat really need to be dropping the F-bombs? I'll make you look like a fucking accident, the cat screamed again as he nearly blew Gru's wheels off. Gru then lurched out of the window of his car with a fucking RPG and shot the Cat in the Hat down. I guess the Cat in the Hat shot in a vat, Gru said as a fucking chemical vat started opening in the ground under the Cat in the Hat as he fell in. Okay, what the fuck? I was still in shock from what I just saw, but the movie just kept going on as Gru got into the helicopter that was just kind of there and said, "Time to visit my brother," in a weird Gru accent. We then see Gru visiting the home of his brother Drew, who came bat-flipping down the stairs as Mo Bamba started fucking playing again. What is up, brother? Drew said in an equally weird voice to Gru. Do you know what's up? Gas prices! Gru whirled. Gru then started walking around in circles like he was thinking about something. Somebody tried to attack me on the way here, brother. He looked very strange, like a cat in the hat. This seemed to disturb Drew, who suddenly said, "We must go inside," and took Gru into the secret basement in his house. Drew then began to explain how the fucking Lorax had actually became evil this entire time. Yeah, that's right, the Lorax. You see, to protect the trees, the Lorax had devised a plan to kill every human on Earth in a chemical weapons attack. I had to rewind this scene about 20 times to make sure I wasn't going crazy. That was the stupidest fucking story I'd ever heard in my life. Drew then opened a closet and the Lorax's limp, dead body came tumbling out. You see, brother, I killed the Lorax, Drew said. Gru screamed. Why did you kill the Lorax? Now the Cat in the Hat is trying to kill me, Gru said with fury. He thinks that you and me. We must kill him together, Drew said as the movie suddenly cut to a stupid fucking montage of Gru and Drew getting incredibly shredded at the gym to loud, angry rock music. Where the fuck are my fucking minions? Gru shrieked. Well, you're not evil anymore, and you must be evil, or no minions, said Drew. Gru and Drew then decided to commit a truly villainous crime to make the minions come back. We see Gru breaking into a hospital to do something evil, but Drew kept farting loudly. I wasn't really a fan of fart jokes, so this scene kind of annoyed me. Gru finally turned around and said, For fuck's sake, can you control your ass? We need to be quiet. I can be quiet, Drew said. Drew then whipped out a massive fucking boombox playing some Juice WRLD song and started pouring fucking lean into 5 bags. Turn that shit off, Drew! We need to be quiet! Drew shrieked so fucking loud, my dog went down the stairs and took a shit on the floor. Suddenly, Gru's wife, Lucy, and their 3 adoptive daughters, Margot, Edith, and Agnes, appeared driving a dump truck full of minions. But then the weirdest shit I have ever seen appeared. The Cat in the Hat suddenly burst through the ground standing on a massive green glowing hand. I'm the Cat in the Hand now, bitch! He hurled. Gru then snapped his fingers and the minions started forming into a fucking mech and punched the Cat in the Hat off his massive hand. I am the glue in the shoe! Gru yelled as he started shoving a fucking shoe down the Cat in the Hat's throat. The Cat in the Hat started choking on the shoe and nearly died. We've almost got him, brother! Gru hurled to Drew, who pulled out a comically large gun that fired fucking pizza crust from it. Suddenly, the Cat in the Hat whipped out a copy of the game Need for Speed and threw it at Gru's face, nearly breaking his long-ass nose. Need for Speed? What about Lust for Crust? Gru hurled as he fired the gun straight through the Cat in the Hat, slicing him in half with the sheer power of concentrated crust. The minions suddenly appeared, starting running everywhere and celebrating as the hospital collapsed. We did it, brother! We killed Cat in the Hat! Drew said. Yes, brother. It was truly evil. We showed them the power of crust, said Gru. Suddenly the fucking Caliber elf burst through the ground, driving a massive fucking underground drill and shit. Lick my fucking elf ass, he said as he started firing an assault rifle at Gru and Drew. Shit! It's that fucking elf! Drew screamed. What fucking elf? Yelled Gru. Drew sighed deeply. The elf started shooting at us, you fucking carrot leg, long nosed bullhead, fried egg scarf wearing white Dr. Phil looking asshole. Drew screeched at Gru. Gru then whipped out a fucking handgun out of his coat and shot Drew point blank in the fucking head. It wasn't Drew. It was the fucking Grinch. Holy shit! What the fuck? Gru hurled at the Grinch. The Keebler elf started fucking laughing, although he suddenly looked like Korean for some fucking reason. Where is my real brother? Gru screamed at the Grinch. This was kind of pointless because Gru had just shot the Grinch in the head and he was fucking dead now. So Gru kind of was just screaming at a corpse, which was really fucking stupid. Gru then picked up his crust gun off of the ground and shot the Keebler elf, who burst into a disgusting mess of blood, guts, and cookie dough. My fingers instinctively reached for the phone to type 911 because I was honestly horrified and terrified of this disturbing animated movie. Suddenly the Cat in the Hat, who is somehow alive, started crawling towards Gru and some weird fucking green energy started coming out of his eyes. I will resurrect the master! At this moment, a fucking 600-foot Lorax burst out of the nearby building. That's some spicy meatball! The Lorax screamed as he threw a fucking chopper at Gru. Gru launched into the air with a jetpack and started shooting at the Lorax. Where is my brother, you fat orange bitch? Gru screamed. The Lorax started picking up a skyscraper as people began to scream. Gru then grabbed the Cat in the Hat, broke his fucking neck, tied a grenade onto his ass, and hurled him at the Lorax, blowing a massive hole in the Lorax's head. I guess he's the Cat in the Hat now, Gru screamed as the Lorax burst into flames. The minions then appeared carrying Drew to safety. Oh, thank goodness, brother. You are alive! The Lorax was still trying to fucking kill Gru even though the Lorax was on fire. Stupid Lorax. Drew then morphed into a tank like a fucking Power Ranger on crack and shot the Lorax, killing him instantly. The battle was over. We have defeated them all, brother. We are safe now, Drew said. Gru and Drew then walked into the sunset as dramatic cinematic music started playing. What the fuck did I just watch? I was shocked. Was this the real reason there are not any more live-action Dr. Seuss movies? The credits played, but they were just footage of the fucking Keebler elf again twerking to some rap music that was so fucking loud I couldn't even make out the words. All of the names in the credits were just stupid shit like Young Yo or Michael Ass. And the movie was apparently directed by some guy named Christopher Fortini, which was really fucking stupid. Afterwards, there was some weird post-credits scene where Gru stared into the screen and said, "That's all she wrote. Now go out and vote." The fuck? Was Gru trying to talk politics? Anyway, our story ends here, dear friend. And remember, support your local family video if it's still in business. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, as I would greatly appreciate it. And also keep in mind, if this video does somewhat well, I will continue this series like always. And put on post notifications if you want to be notified every time I upload my videos. Now, if you want to read the story for yourself, it's in the description like as always. And I will see you guys in the next Creepypasta video.